Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Welcome to Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers. And now we are going to start a meeting. And first of all, in RSS, it's my part to say these three things. First, Toastmasters International was established in California in 1924 by Ralph Smedley. And today, Toastmasters International has evolved to be a worldwide nonprofit organization with more than 6,800 clubs in 145 countries. It's where we can learn and grow together. And second, Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers was established in Oregon in 19 September 2005. We are a blended or hybrid club. Our members are from all over the world. We meet every Monday at 7 a.m. Oregon time, the same Zoom link. And the third, the housekeeping protocol. During the meeting, we suggest you to mute your microphone unless you're going to speak and leave your camera on. And for all role takers, please identify your name in front of your name. And now I'm going to hand over the control to someone very special in our club, someone with a warm and welcoming personality. None other than the one and only our president, Miss Ayu Anantya. Please welcome.
Thank you, Melva, our SAA, our Sergeant at Arms. Hello, Julia Ritter. Welcome to Roseburg Speaker and Storytellers.
Thank you for having me.
In the preparation to contest, we are doing a speakathon today. So thank you for all visiting Toastmaster. Hi, Chitra, Nivere, Subhadra, Angela, everybody for helping out. And now let's welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Yasmin Talwala.
Thank you, Ms. President. And yet again, you are all welcome to a very excited meeting, a different one to say, because today we are not going to have the regular meeting. It's a speakathon. We are going to hear 5 speeches. Can you already imagine the variety we are going to have, given the diversity around the people and the experiences and the stories that we are going to have in another hour? So just tie your seatbelt and be prepared for this speakathon. I'm not going to be alone in this. I have a team to support me, and let's begin with who is there to help us on this. May I first invite the timer to please, Melva is going to be playing the timer. Could you please come in, Melva, and explain how you would be sort of taking care of the timing, Melva?
Okay, thanks Yasmin for my first time to introduce my role takers. And okay, today I'm your timer. And as we know, we have 3 sessions. That is towel topic, prepare speech, and evaluation. So for prepare speech, and I think we have 5 speakers and 1 icebreaker. And for your icebreaker, you need to speak 4 to 6 minutes. And was that? And after that, all speakers prepare speech. You need to speak maximum for 7 minutes or 7 minutes. And for a table topic session, especially for guests, you need to speak 1 to 2 minutes. And for evaluator, you need to speak 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. And okay, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I forgot. I will show you my sign. This one. If I show you, I'm sorry. Okay, can you see my color? Oh my God, I don't know. Okay, if you can, if I show you green color, later I'll fix it. It's like minimum, I mean like you still safe. And oh, I'm so sorry for my sign. And if I show you yellow, it's like you still safe, but you need to worry. And if I show you red sign, it means you need to uh, you need to leave your speech and wrap your speech. And I give you 30 seconds to wrap your speech. That's it. Back to Yasmin.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Melwa, for taking this up. And we are sure you're going to fix your screen very soon. Just one point of correction. We will not be having table topic session today because we are going to keep our limited time. And within the time, we can have 5 speakers because it's a special meeting. So just with that information, let me now move on the meeting to the linguistic beauty of it. And to support us there, we have grammarian. Tiger will be grammarian today. Tiger, could you please come in and explain your role and give us the word of the day?
Thank you, Yasmin, Toastmaster of the day. The word of the day is articulate, and I will put that in the chat. It is the ability to speak fluently and coherently. I will be looking for usage of the word of the day. I'll also be looking for exceptional or interesting usage of the English language. If we have any very poor usage of the language, I will point that out. I'm sure there will not be very much of that. I will be doing a unique grammarian's report to test your listening skills. So please listen to all the speakers carefully. Back to you, Yasmin.
Wow, you were very articulated, Tiger, in explaining your role. And thank you for the word of the day. And here we move to the very important role of our counter. May I now invite one of our beautiful guests, Citra, who's going to be playing the role of our counter to explain her role. Citra, please.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So here I am, Chitra, as your accounter today. And my job as an accounter is to note any words, sound that are used as crutch or pause fillers. And also I will take note on overused words such as and, well, so, but, you know, and also the filler words such as and some repeat words. At the end of the meeting, I will present you the report upon call. Thank you. Back to you, Yasmin.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Citra, for being so quick and on the spot about your role. And now be prepared for the Speechathon. And you will all be excited to know that we have none other than Kevin as our speaker one. Kevin, we all know him. He has been past president of the club and a great supporter of RSS. Yeah, well, he envisioned RSS to say, the DTN, but today he will be giving his icebreaker speech because he is opting for pathway. His pathway is the leadership development. So as being an icebreaker speech, his speech is going to be 4 to 6 minutes. The title of his speech is Kevin's Story. He will be evaluated by another guest of ours, Subhadra. And Subhadra will present the report, the evaluation report during the later session. And with all this, I am excited to invite Kevin to deliver his icebreaker speech, Kevin's Story. Kevin, the platform is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Today I will tell my story. I was born in Paradise, California on May the 20th, 1975. Me and my parents lived in Paradise on my grandparents' property for about 2 years before traveling up to Oregon to relocate here in Canyonville. We've lived here pretty much ever since. Growing up for me was very difficult because I had a lot of issues. I had speech problems. I was very nervous, shy. I stuttered a lot. I had a lot of anxiety. And these aren't good things to have as a child, because when you have these kind of problems, kids don't treat you very nice. They try to hurt you. So my environment as a child was very somewhat hostile and harsh, because maybe it was me, maybe I was emanating all this negative energy, I don't know, but I was just having a hard time connecting with kids. I made some friends, but it wasn't easy. And I had these problems, and they just kind of stuck with me growing up into adulthood. I went to high school at South Umpqua High School. Didn't have too many friends. I was kind of a shy, withdrawn kid, very introverted, if you will. But I was very determined to learn what I had to learn in high school, focus on my subjects so I could graduate. When I became a junior in high school, I made up my mind to join the Army. This Army recruiter called me up on the phone at my house and said, "Hey, I think you should consider the Army." So we discussed it, and I was very impressed with this guy because he seemed to be very interested in me. And that's something that never really happened very often. I mean, my teachers weren't very interested in me. My student counselors at the high school were never interested in me. This recruiter seemed very interested in me, and he showed me all these pamphlets about the Army, and I was hooked. I wanted to join the Army. So that was my plan after high school, is to join the Army. And of course, people that knew me said it was impossible. Kids, church friends, my parents and all that, they didn't give me any support because I still had these same problems, speech problems, anxiety, communication issues, whatnot. So therefore, they didn't really expect much of me. But it didn't hinder me. It didn't deter me from my determination. I really wanted to do this. So after I graduated high school, about a week later, I shipped out to Fort Benning, Georgia, where I would begin my basic training and my advanced infantry training. I was in Fort Benning, Georgia for about 4 or so months. And by the time I graduated basic training in AIT, I felt so good. And I had some adventure in my life. And all of a sudden, that was the beginning of me finding my voice. I started to learn to speak fairly well. I started to gain confidence in myself, and I was happy. I didn't have the same problems I had as a child. I started to learn how to be articulate, and it's funny. A lot of these people that would mess with me and try to hurt me and discourage me and degrade me, they were very articulate. And it's like, man, I want those kind of skills. I want to be articulate. But I don't want to use my articulate skills in a bad way. I want to use it in a good way. But anyways, so I came home with my Class A uniform. I was so proud of myself, and people looked at me a lot differently. And I interacted differently with people, and it was all very nice and positive. That's when I started to learn how to feel positive energy. Then I got shipped to my permanent duty station, which was Hawaii, and I had a fairly good time. I still had these problems. I still had, speaking problems and things like that. And I still had a little anxiety, and I was still somewhat withdrawn, but I did make a few friends over in Hawaii. But I still wanted to do something about my speaking problems. I still wanted to find my voice 100%. It would come, it would go. Sometimes, I'd be very confident. Sometimes I wouldn't, but I wanted to find a way to sustain my confidence and build it, get it better, become stronger. Anyways, I got out of the Army. I went to college. I came back home. I went to college at the local community college. I found a job at the casino here in security. Michelle, she would know that if she was here. I'm a security officer and an EMT at the casino here in Oregon. I've been doing that job for about 20 years now. I really enjoy it. It's a kind of job where actually I look forward to going to work. And that's, to me, very important. You should have a job that you enjoy and love. I interact very well with people. Now that I've become a Toastmaster, I find it's the kind of learning vehicle I need. It's the discipline, the training I need. And it helps me do very well at work as an EMT and as also a security officer. My life is so much better. And I look back at my childhood, I do have a lot of positive memories. I do have a lot of positive, it wasn't that depressing, but I wish my childhood was a little better as far as, learning how to speak and everything. Anyway, I love hobbies. I love to lift weights. I love to work out. I like to fish when I get a chance. I like to bowl. I like to golf. I do believe that we need to always keep ourselves busy. We always need to be goal oriented. That's the way I am. So if it's like once I complete a goal, I go on to another goal. I feel that we always need to keep our mind sharp. We always need to be positive. When I speak to people, I always want to make somebody feel important. I don't want, I always want to repay somebody with kindness and respect. You know, I feel like everybody should do that. And I always want to do that for people, you know. I always believe in working hard, paying your debts, paying your bills. If you don't have the money, don't buy it unless you really need it. That's my philosophy. And I'm so excited to start my new journey as a Toastmaster with this Pathways program. I'm already impressed with what the accomplishments I've made. So it's only just beginning. I'm having fun. Thank you, Toastmasters, for hearing my story. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much indeed, Kevin. What an insight into your life journey and what a vivid life it had been. And indeed, it is so true. We all need to be goal oriented. So thank you for sharing all your stories with us, Kevin. Moving forward, let me invite one of the most melodious Toastmaster of RSS, not only RSS, maybe we could bet that she is one of the most melodious Toastmaster so far we know, or amongst those we know. And it's none other than Alice Jeffrey. She would be presenting a level 3 speech from her Pathways on Presentation Mastery. Her speech is going to be 5 to 7 minutes speech. The evaluator for her speech is Tiger, and the title of the speech is Crazy for Life. Crazy for Life. Let's invite Alice. Alice, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Yasmin. And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who couldn't hear the music. Friedrich Nietzsche. And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who couldn't hear the music. Do you hear music in you? How would you dance that music? Have you ever thought to be insane for something you did by others? Age 20, decided to be a musician. For my parents, that wasn't a logical choice. What do you mean you'll become a musician? You're going to be hungry. But I love music. That's what I want to do. This is not serious. You've got to find a serious job and live your life like your parents did. But I don't want to be serious. I want to be happy. And being an engineer won't make me happy. For me, being serious was a jail. So I decided to do things that are not considered to be so serious. Don't tell me not to live, just sit and patter. Love's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Age 30. Working at an elementary school as a teacher. Konstantinos was a kid with an autism spectrum disorder. Our school wasn't a special school. His teacher and the students could not accept him. He was an isolated kid. But he could do one thing very well. He could learn new songs and sing them perfectly. With many objections from parents and teachers, Konstantinos joined the choir. And not only that, but I decided to give him a solo for the end of the year's concert. You must be crazy. That kid will not make it. But he's good in singing. I believe he can make it. He can't. You will make a fool of yourself. To me, it was clear that he was capable of that, but for the teachers and some parents, it wasn't. To their eyes, I seemed to be thoughtless or insane. Konstantinos sang his song. It was a Greek song about tyranny. Parrots, parrots, parrots in the yard. Parrot, 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 every dawn. They do as their chiefs say they should do. They eat of all their food. And when it's getting dark, they listen in what their neighbors have to say. It was like he was singing for all of them who had rejected him all these years, for all of them who were saying, you can't do this and you can't do that. He was perfect. The kid attained to gain the value he already had and others couldn't see. Maybe my craziness helped that kid and his parents to feel proud and happy. Age 40. Normal life with 2 kids, husband, a job that I love, and financially independent. What else could I ask? People around me are satisfied with these premises and they don't look for something more. I can see them every day complaining about their bad luck, bad weather, their parents, their bosses. This is normal. And I ask you, why do we have to live with these parrots who parrot, parrot, parrot every day, the same things again and again and again? There is something more. There has to be something more unique for every one of us that can make us superhumans. What if we chose to dig deep inside us and discover that? Parrots always say, what are you searching for? I can't understand you. Don't you like your life as it is? I discovered the one and only thing that could make me a superhuman. And now I'm here in front of you, speaking and living my dream. Here's to the ones who dream, foolish as they may seem. Here's to the hearts that take. Here's to the mess we make. Age 50. I'm kidding, I'm not 50 yet. But in my 50s, I dream of a life full of creativity and enthusiasm. I dream the dawn of a new beginning, not the end of life and dreams. What about you? Do you hear the music in you? What's the rhythm? What's the melody? What's the dance? A bit of madness is key to give us new colors to see. Who knows where it will lead us? And that's why they need us. So bring all the rebels, the ripples from pebbles, the painters, the poets and plays. And here's to the fools who dream, crazy as they may seem. Here's to the hearts that break. Here's to the mess we make. Thank you.
Thank you very much for such a beautiful and melodious speech. The crazy of a life, the life of a crazy. I wish we were all that crazy. Yeah, so now it's time to just feel for something unique, different, all the way from Mexico. And here I am to invite my third speaker, Gabrielle Bonella. Gabby, can you please help me know the project? I believe it's the third speech for level 1, the pathway. What pathway is it, Gabby?
Yeah, I sent you by the chat.
Okay, I have to confess that I'm not able to retrieve it. I do have your title. Could you please let us all know?
Yeah, I share now my screen, and I show you the title of the speech.
Okay.
Sorry, I share my screen. Let me.
I have the title of the speech, Debbie. It's the Day of the Dead.
Of the Dead, Day of the Day. Yeah.
Dead. So that's the title of the speech. So let's invite Gabby for her speech, Day of the Dead. But before we do that, let me just let you all know that she will be evaluated by one of our guests, Nevere Randhawa. So with that, Gabby, please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Jasmine. Now I present my speech. This about the Day of the Dead, because it's a tradition of Mexico in 1 of November. I present you. For many people, talking about death means pain, loss, or suffering. However, the word death is talking about something that the start of the life. The tradition is of the Day of the Dead is more than rooted of Mexican popular culture. Its story and antecedent date back to the pre-Hispanic times and is survived a vacillation which took advance of this belief to promote the Christian message of the eternal and life resurrection. In Mexico, to speak of the dead is really to speak of the living. It is one of the multitude effects of the encounter of two words, the word of the living and the word of the dead. What is the tradition of this? What is the tradition consist of? Has everyone heard about the tradition? No? In Mexico? No. Okay, I explained that. Officially, according the Catholic calendar, November 1st is dedicated to the saints of November all the saints, sorry, and November 2 to the faithful departed. However, this tradition is popular in much of the country. The first day is dedicated to the of children, and the second to the date of the adults. I can mention that Disney Pixar in their films Coco captured of this tradition plus some costumes with Mexican satire. With this tradition, the ofrenda in Spanish or the offering in English plays a very important role as it is a center of the celebration. To offer is to share with the sender relatives certain joys of the life or some of the fruits obtained in the past in the last year. The offering is prepared to exhibit as expression of the feelings such gratitude, love, and veneration, obliged to the receive and attended of the soul that in November come to their old home to enjoy good things they enjoy in life. It said that the Day of the Dead, the vision of the treasury return of the soul of the saints who return home to the world of the living to life with their relative to the nurses themselves with the essence of the good offering to them and a tax place of their own honor. I will explain what is the altar offering constants. For the first time, I show you the cempasúchil flower represents the entrance to the other world. Pan de muerto in Spanish or pov prasti represent the generosity of the host in the gift in the heart itself. A glass of water, it is reflection of purification. It helps to the thirst of the soul that comes from the long journey and also a strength to the return. Fruits, it's represent the earth element. Sugar skills is remember that living is sweet finally destined. Candles, it's flame in the light, faith and hope to the guides in this next world. Photos of my familiaries for the soul to remember the past through the life. Papel picado is like this image, used to decorate their altar. That's all is the general of the offender or the ofrenda in Mexico. The next I share some some when you transcend to the dead world in Mexico says no es más grande aquel que más espacio ocupa, sino aquel que más vacío deja en su ausencia. In English, the one that occupies the most space is not bigger, but the one that leaves the most impedance. Sorry, I have a trouble with this. This is the messages of these days because I think the death is no bad. The death is a part of the life. This is all. Feliz Día de Muertos in Mexico. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much. Feliz Día de Muertos. Wow, what an insight into one of the very important and interesting culture in Mexico. And I believe that's the beauty of having the diversity in our club. And on that note, how about going from Mexico all the way to India and invite our next speaker, Rukaiya Mutagam. She is our speaker 4th, and she will be delivering her speech from the pathway persuasive influence. This is the level 2 speech, that's introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. She will be evaluated by one of our very warm and close guest, Angela Stringer. The title of her speech is Shaping the Future. So Shaping the Future, with this title, I invite Rukaiya, speaker 4. Rukaiya, the floor is yours.
Thank you, the Toastmasters of the day. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, a warm welcome to you all. The topic for my today's speech is Shaping the Future. What is Toastmasters? Toastmasters a place where leaders are born. Toastmasters, a place where a timid newbie is turned into a confident warrior. Toastmasters, a place which helps you to achieve what you aim for. Toastmasters, a place which helps you in shaping the future. Now, while I say so, I would like to present some solid proofs to make you all believe that the synonyms I use for Toastmasters are all justified. Now, we all over here have been to schools, colleges, universities, and these are considered as very crucial part of a human life, because these are the mediums that help us to pursue our desired education, abundance of knowledge, discipline, etc. But when we get into the real world, self-presentation is something which matters the most apart from education. And Toastmasters, I feel, is one such platform that fills the void between the educational and real life. The main difference between any educational platform and Toastmasters is that of a coaching and mentoring environment. In a coaching environment, we get a coach, and coach is ultimately someone who can support you in a specific personal or career development area. They may identify and prioritize improvement areas, break down your end goals into smaller goals, and work with you to shape and grow your mindset. While in mentoring environment, we have a mentor, someone who can guide, advise, and support you to be the best you can be in your career or life. They take time to understand you and the challenges you are facing, and then advise you based on their understanding of your problems and their personal experience, with the aim of helping you towards your goals. Coaching partnerships are more short-term than mentoring relationships due to the fact that they are objective-driven and more structured. While mentoring relationships have an ability to last a lifetime if they result in friendship. Even if you initially get a mentor to support some specific goal, once you have that connection with someone, you may reach out to them again in the future. Mentoring tends to be longer term than coaching partnerships due to its personal and informal nature. Here, we are provided with experienced Toastmasters as our mentors who understands the values and missions of Toastmasters and also offers a wide spectrum of skills and expertise that can benefit us as a protege. They confidentially and non-judgmentally address any questions from their protege while knowing when to step aside and let the protege learn independently. The mentor and protege relationship is often mutually beneficial. Because of Toastmasters' unique system of club membership, during mentorship, both mentors and proteges learn new ideas, see varying perspectives, and find new methods of approaching people, topics, and situations. Learning these new ways of thinking creates an opportunity for more self-awareness and an insight into the way others think. Mentors gain experience with one-on-one communication, counseling, and coaching. They have the ability to create a legacy of sharing information and knowledge with fellow members at all levels of experience. My basic idea, while I started attending the Toastmasters meeting, was to get a flow where I could practice my English speaking skill and become an articulate speaker while I converse with someone, as I am planning to go to foreign for my higher education. When I was introduced to Toastmasters, initially I had no idea that something like this even exists. And when I decided to become the member of a club, of course, I was given each and every information about how it will work. But doing things practically gives us actual knowledge about how it would all work out. And just as I thought after joining that now I know how Toastmasters work, I was given one more surprise, and that was of a mentor. I was lucky enough to get a mentor who is supporting, encouraging, and guiding through my projects, and someone who is always ready to help me whenever I turn on to her for any sort of help. I find Toastmasters mentoring extremely supportive because I know that whenever I will present something over here, I will get a proper appreciation for the things I did well and a proper guidance for the things I need to work upon. There is a very beautiful quote by Tom Boddick which states that in school you are taught a lesson and then given a test, and in life you are given a test which teaches you a lesson. And Toastmaster, therefore, is one such platform that helps you to prepare for these unseen tests of life with the help of the self-confidence it pumps up in its members. Thank you, and back to you, the TMOD.
Thank you very much indeed, Rukaya, for what a relevant speech. We all underscore the importance of mentor in our life, be it Toastmasters journey or be it any other. So thank you very much for sharing the insights from your personal journey to Toastmaster. And with this, it's time to invite our next speaker, last but not least. And indeed, we must thank her for always being so cheerful, smiling, none other than our very own Ishel. Ishel will be delivering the speech from her Pathways Dynamic Leadership. That's the level 1 speech on evaluation and feedback. So she has delivered the speech before, and today she has revised it, and it's the third speech from that level 1. To evaluate the show, we have Federico with us. So the speech will be evaluated by Federico. The speech title is High Mountain. So I invite our speaker 5, Ishel, with the title High Mountain. Ishel, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you, Jasmine. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to stay here. And yes, the title is High Mountain. What is about this? Okay, I will talk about my story of how I start with this travel of high mountain. Since I was a child that I lived in Morelos. In Morelos, there is 2 volcans. One in the left side, the name is Ixtaccíhuatl. That volcan has a height or 5,230 meters of height, and in the right side is Popocatépetl. This has a height of 4,026 meters. So since I was a child, I wanted to be there at the summit. And most of the time that I saw these volcans, I dreamed to be at the summit. And I say, wow, one day I would like to stay there at the summit. Well, the story, my life continues until 214 that one friend told me, would you like to, 14, and one friend told me, would you like to go to Iztaccíhuatl? And I say, yes, really? Have you ever been there? And she told me, yes, I have been there like 3-4 times each year. I go there. Really? So I trust her and I say, well, okay, I will trust to her. She know how to go. And she trying to explain me all the stuff regarding of this because I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know what kind of shoes use, the weather to eat, or how go. I haven't any idea, but I wanted to go. And she trying to explain me all this, and she let me a backpack and a sleeping bag. And she tried to explain me, and reviewed my clothes, my boots, on all kinds. And in fact, we started to run every morning 1 week after go to this volcano. And I said, well, I think that it's okay. And when we arrived to this volcano in the base, she told me, oh, I forgot to tell you that you need to trekking poles. And I said, what? Yes, she told me, yes, but don't worry, I can let you one. And I said, okay. And in this picture, you can see that she has one and I have another. Really, well, okay. And when we started to walk, and in more or less 4 hours later, we arrived on like a wall, all for rocks, and we started to climb in this rock. And one moment, I felt that I fell down backwards, and I felt so terrible because I couldn't grab very well, and also for the weight of my backpack. And in that moment, suddenly I thought that I wanted to be Wolverine and has these crops and has his crops and climbed so deep it into the rock. Okay, so I was afraid, and well, okay, and I could go in front of the rock and going. Okay, and then we continued. We couldn't go at the summit, just only to the refuge that it has 7,018 meters. Then I decided to take a course to learn how to climb, because after this trip, if my friends didn't let me one trekking pole, also it was so terrible for me to climb in without this. So I said, well, maybe she couldn't tell me all about this. So I decided to take this course, and this course took me 5 months. So imagine that she trying to explain me all that knowledge in 1 week, in 3 weeks. No, so it couldn't be impossible. And there I learned to climb. and in the end, we go to the Iztaccíhuatl with all the group again. And I felt so comfortable because I had the knowledge and I know how to do this. And in the Iztaccíhuatl, we climb in the hardest part, like something like this, that we taught us, like we took us like 30 minutes or 14 minutes climbing in this like this, and I felt so comfortable and I enjoyed it. And at the end we got the summit, And of course, I was so happy, and now I could, with any problems, and go safety. Thank you, Toastmaster. Go back with you, Jasmine.
Thank you very much indeed. I think we can hear this speech repeatedly again and again. So much of fun it is to know about how you made your tough journey to the mountains, yeah, the high mountains. And we wish we could also join you someday for this mountaineering expedition. And I guess all our speakers would be waiting for this session, which is about feedback. Now we are going to get into our general the evaluation session. And to help me run this session, I would like to invite the general evaluator, which is Ayu Anantya. Ayu, are you with us, Ayu? Right, okay. So I hand the control to you, Ayu.
Thank you, Yasmin. Now we are going to the second part of the meeting, which is the evaluation session. So let's just get started and let's welcome our first evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Subhadra. Ma'am? Hello? Subhadra, are you there?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. Are you ready, ma'am?
Yes, I'm ready. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and distinguished Toastmaster Kevin Bertzel. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all of you. Toastmaster Kevin, you gave an excellent account of your story from having speech problems, shy, and an introvert to be a confident communicator with good articulation after joining the army. Well, the recruiter did the magic in impressing you and had shown interest in you as a person, unlike many others surrounding you, your teachers, your peers, everybody. That was an inspiring story. You were confident when you came back from the army. You felt that you were stronger and you found your voice 100% and you were able to get a job as a security officer in the casino in Roseburg. Excellent. And I'm very happy to know that now you are able to love your job and get over your shyness and all other problems. Your life became even better after joining Toastmasters. Wow, that is something we all could relate to. You are a person of great integrity, paying your bills, dues, and in buying only if you have the money. Wow, I really loved the way you explained, you articulated your story in your own words. Few points I would have felt that you would have done even better were that we could have learned a little bit more about you. If you had any siblings or if you were married, few little things more about you. And I would have been really happy if you had a catchy sentence in your opening, like, here is the story you would be hearing of an introvert, shy boy with speech problems turning into a confident, articulate speaker. Guess who? That's me. That would have made your speech really great. You maintained eye contact throughout, except when you were mentioning about your hobbies. probably a little bit more preparation would have been better over there because you were looking up as you were thinking up of your hobbies over there. In your conclusion, you mentioned, you gave a message that it would be nice if everybody is kind and give respect to others. But after that, you were mentioning about Toastmasters and others. So your conclusion was in the middle and I couldn't get the message properly. Overall, distinguished Toastmaster Kevin, a fantastic job and I really loved your story. Over to you, General Evaluator Ayo.
Thank you. Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Subhadra. Very well done evaluation. Next, our second evaluator is distinguished Toastmaster Tiger McKendy. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Miss Distinguished Toastmaster General Evaluator.
I'd like to say no.
There are three things that I'm going to speak about that I really liked and enjoyed from Alice's speech. Number one was the start and the finish. Number two was the storytelling. After all, we are a storytelling Toastmaster group. And number three, vocal variety. So let's start out with the start. The start of the speech was very powerful. She said a quote twice, basically alluding to the fact that anyone that wants to become a singer or an artist is insane by those of us that can't hear the music. And I'm pointing at myself because I'm partially deaf. I can't hear the music. So yes, I think anyone that wants to become a singer or actress is insane. That was a very powerful start. And then she talked about her conversation with her father, which led into an excellent job of storytelling. We got to know a lot more about Alice. We got to know about her adventure, her journey into becoming a singer, a dancer. It was powerful and it was emotional. Vocal variety. Now, obviously, Alice cheats because she sings, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about her vocal variety as a speaker. She does a really good job of speeding up at times, at slowing down at times, at articulating her words, especially when she's making eye contact with the camera. A really nice job of using vocal variety to make a point. And of course, the third thing I loved about her speech in terms of vocal variety was her singing. But the thing about Alice I appreciate is that her singing is in context. She doesn't just sing to entertain us. Her songs, her words are part of the story and enhance the story. So I really appreciate that. Now, there are some things that I think she could do to make this an even more powerful speech. Number one, I always recommend doing a speech standing up. And this will do a couple things, especially Alice with your gestures. Because you were sitting down, you're relatively close, you can see that my gestures are off camera, especially when you're singing, your hands are off camera a lot. So if you stand up and back away from the camera, you can keep your gestures on screen. It'll make your speech even that more powerful. Eye contact. When you make eye contact, it's exceptional, but there are many times where you were looking down. I think maybe you're looking at notes. So try and avoid that. And then the last thing I challenge you, do a speech with no singing. Quit cheating. It was wonderful, Alice. Thank you very much. Back to you, Miss General Evaluator.
It wasn't cheating. It's a nice one. Well, thank you, Tiger, for your evaluation. And we are going to move again to our third evaluator, Niveri. Let's welcome Niveri.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster. Gabby, there are two things that I like very much about your speech. One was your bravery to face the audience, face the camera, and take up the challenge. That was a winning factor in its own way. The second thing I liked very much was you had beautiful illustrations. You have put up a lot of effort, a lot of work in coming up with slides, illustrations that made me follow your speech in the context. So these were the two things that I liked very much in your speech. You spoke about the two worlds, this world and also that world. Now, there are three things I would like you to work on, three very simple things which will help you to become much better as time goes on. That is, the first thing, there was no eye contact, zero eye contact with the audience. You made very little eye contact with the audience. And it was not relatable with the audience. When there's no eye contact, a lot of stuff is cut off. So I could not really connect with you. And the second thing was you appeared to be reading your script. You were so engrossed in reading your script that eye connection was not there. And small things like gestures, facial expressions, hands, body gestures, all went missing because of that script. Now, I would suggest you that try to memorize your script, try to put in more practice. Where practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the better you become. The one that occupies the most space is not bigger than the one that leaves the most emptiness in its absence. That was a very long, beautiful quote, which was illustrated on the slides. So let us apply it on yourself so that you become better with time. As time goes on, when you work with all these few little things, it will also give you more confidence as you go on. So the summary, in last but not least, because of the heavy accent, I think it's either Mexican or Spanish. It was quite difficult for me to follow your speech, I'm sorry to say. Otherwise, you spoke on the two worlds. I could make out the story, which came in with a lot of traditions and offerings and a lot of reflections. So I hope to see you improving in your next speeches. Thank you very much, and over to you, distinguished Toastmaster.
Thank you, Nivere, for your evaluation. To one of our speakers, Gabby Bonilla. Moving on, we are going to hear from our fourth evaluator, Angela Stringer. Over to you, Angela.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right? Gotcha. Thank you. Rukia, shaping the future. You related mentoring to the future. Basically, today's learners are tomorrow's speakers. Things you excelled at. You stood. This is actually really good because it gives you the confidence to move around, to use your body in every way possible. You see how my head's above the screen? Watch your camera. Bring your computer up. Let me just continue with things you did well. You had a good introduction. For those of you who don't know, this is actually a rhetoric trick. I don't know if those of you who are aware. She kept saying, Toastmaster gives, Toastmaster gives. When you are using repeated phrases like this, there is no doubt about the message. the speaker is trying to get across to you, because you know it's coming from Toastmasters, which is what she actually wanted to tell us. You described mentoring as opposed to coaching. This was part of the project. You did actually say it, yet I think you could have emphasized a little bit more about the coaching. Your information was very good. You told us everything I think that we ever needed to know about mentoring. You had good voice inflection, a good pace. You were comfortable speaking. It was an interesting speech, spoken with articulation and clarity. You made it personal towards the end, telling us what you obtained from mentoring. Things I would consider you to work on. Your gestures were off screen. Because you had it here, your gestures were here, also a little bit here. Be careful. If you're going to use gestures, make sure we can see them. May I suggest you raise your computer to eye level? You are actually looking down. I think you could have been reading notes because you kept glancing down like this. It is obvious, unfortunately, on Zoom that you do this. May I also suggest that you add pauses? Ah, you heard that. Pauses give us time to bring information into our audience. I stopped there. Did you hear? This is a very big trick, or else you're just going on and on and on with information, information, information. And what will happen is your audience will just cut off. As a challenge, may I suggest, give a specific example where your mentor helped you. You could say, for example, when this happened, and we can think, oh yes, we can relate to that. Maybe you could also add how difficult it is without a mentor. You did give us a lot of information. May I suggest take 2 or 3 major points, explain them in detail. Also, this is my last point, at the end, bring it full circle to the statement you opened with, or alternatively, you gave a really great quote. Why not open with that? In school, you're given a lesson, then a test. In Toastmasters, you're given a test, then a lesson. Give a pause, then at the end, close with this quote. These are just suggestions for you. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Angela, for your evaluation. And since I know that you are going to leave the meeting very soon, I would like to say thank you very much for to-the-point evaluation. Thank you, Angela. Fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, our last evaluator is Federico Navarrete. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Michelle, for your story, and tell us more about why you decided to climb mountains and volcanoes. Those are not things that I will say many people have experienced, and I think that a lot of people will be scared of going to a volcano. Why? Because you might imagine that a couple of rocks can go out from an eruption. I would rather avoid those places because I like safety. But in a way, you told us a little bit about your experience and how a friend persuaded you, even didn't tell you about the important details like having a couple of boots. Those are very interesting things that you told us. Now, let's focus on how this could have been better. The first part is similar to a previous feedback. I can advise you that something that can help you sometimes to check about certain pronunciations is Google Translate, like volcano. In Google Translate, you have an option like you can type a word and you write it in Spanish like volcán, that is what you wanted to say in the volcano. And then there is something here that it helps you to understand the pronunciation. Volcano. And not only that, if you go to the browser it's even greater because you can record your speech and it analyzes how you're pronouncing it. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but really it allows you to analyze until you pronounce it correctly. The next part is try to reduce the amount of gestures, because I feel that you were playing a lot with your hands in the screen. I'm not sure what was the message behind the let's say the advanced language, but sometimes I believe that you should try to minimize and just focus on the message, even if it was in the real life. Let's say I believe that you will be moving your hands a lot, but think that your hands should have a message. If not, I will be distracted. You're telling us about a volcano, but maybe you were moving your hands, but maybe it's like, yeah, I was rock climbing, and focus on the action. Or like when you were going to fall down, maybe you could try to have imitated that action. So try to use your hands in that strategic way, like, hey, I'm trying to imitate what I'm going up. I believe that your message, it was interesting, that in the end you were able to, let's say, I'm gonna go professionally and become a real rock climber. So you even brought us an additional message, like, yeah, I didn't only give up, like I just escaped, I barely survived, but I decided to become a rock climber professional. So you went to a training and you brought us the last part of the message. That's something that I believe is interesting. And maybe during the next experience, you will bring Gavi to the experience and you will tell us how it went, your experience with that Gavi in the volcanoes. Now, back to you. Are you?
Very well done. Thank you all speakers for being very open-minded. I noticed that all of you were nodding. You know, you nod when you listen to your evaluators. This is a good sign that all of you are accepting the evaluation. And thank you very much for all our speakers today. Very honest, straightforward, however, also very honest, straightforward, and in the other side also humble and very soft, even actually encouraging and very appreciative. So next, moving on, we are going to listen to the report of our grammarian, Tiger.
Thank you, Miss General Evaluator. I have good news. We used the word articulate 13 times. The winner of the word of the day usage is Kevin. He used the word articulate 3 times in one sentence. Very good, Kevin. I am going to repeat something that was said. I would like for you guys to identify who said it. So you can go ahead and unmute yourself. If you said it, then don't cheat. Let someone else identify you. First of all, me and my parents lived in paradise. Who said that?
Kevin.
Kevin said that. Now, Kevin, this was a wonderful thing to say. However, it should have been my parents and I. How about, I don't want to be serious. I want to be happy. Who said that? Citra, who said that?
Alice.
Alice.
Alice said that, very good. Who said the mentor-protege relationship is often mutually beneficial?
Ruku.
And I have to give Ruku the articulation award for the day. My goodness. I wrote down about 8 things that she said. Beautiful uses of the language, Ruku. As a child, I wanted to be at the summit.
Excel.
Excel. Absolutely. And then she went on to talk about going to the summit. What a great job of storytelling. I love the way you articulate your story in your own words. Who said that? No? It was our evaluation number 3, talking about Kevin, or no, it was evaluator number 1, excuse me.
Yeah, I was gonna mention her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
My
The best. And the reason I said that was I believe that was the best usage of the word of the day for the whole meeting. How about your hands should have a message?
Federico.
Federico, okay.
What a amazing usage of hand gestures. Your hand should tell a message. Very good, Federico. I suggest you add pauses. Who said that?
Angela.
That was
Angela.
Angela. Back to you, Miss General Evaluator. Good job, everybody.
Thank you. And now, Chitra, are you ready with your evaluation or report?
Yes, and let me share my screen. Here we go. I hope everybody can see that. Yeah? Can everybody see the PowerPoint?
Yes, Chitra. Yes, Chitra.
Okay, that's good. First of all, I would like to congratulate our 4th Toastmaster who had no filler words, repetitions, Alice, Tiger, Niver, and also Angela. Great job. And also the rest of the reports that I can note. We have Kevin 1, Subhadra 2, and then Rukaya, Ayufri. And I would like also to salute Excel and Gabby for doing a great job. I believe you can make it better for next time. Those are my report for today. Back to you, Madam GE. Thank you.
Thank you, Chitra, for very nice, concise report. Now, I believe we all have our timer report, right, in the chat. Is that correct, Melva? Do you want to say it or enough with the chat?
Okay, let me explain it. Okay, thanks, Madam G, for giving me a chance. Okay, so we can see and on the chat for prepared speech, just one speaker spoke over time, that is Alice. And for evaluation, as we can see, there are 2 evaluators spoke over time. There was evaluator 1 and evaluator number 4. That's it. Back to you, Madam G.
Thank you for your general report, Melva. Well, everybody, thank you very much. And I give the control back to Yasmin, our Toastmaster of the day.
Yeah, thank you very much, the general evaluator. And before I give you the floor back as the president of the meeting to close the meeting, let me just grab 2 minutes. No, 2 minutes. I'm not going to grab your 2 minutes anymore. I know you all have done a great job, right? For some of you, it's the very morning, and I know the excitement of listening to intelligent speeches in the very morning. For others, it's the time to go to bed, and it's also equally exciting to have heard so beautiful speeches before we call it the end of the day. So let's keep the spirit on, and I thank you all for this very speakeathon, because having 5 speeches in one day is one of the awesome experience we can have. Thank you. And with this, I give it back to the president, Ayub.
With Yasmin, whatever, with the nice closing from Yasmin, then I will adjourn the meeting. Meeting adjourned.